Hello, I'm Stephanie, and Amy and I are going to be talking to you about empowering women and girls as a global initiative today. I appreciate you watching this video. I know all the other groups are doing live in-class presentations, but there's a big time difference between us and Amy, and the professor was kind enough to let us do this recording. The first things that came to mind when I thought of empowerment for girls and women, for me, were economic issues like the wage gap, gender equality in the workforce, and the glass ceiling. This speaks to my own upbringing in a first world high-income economy. The reality for many women and girls around the globe is that the first thing they need is clean water. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Hopefully you're all familiar with this. I think we've covered it in this class as well. At the bottom, you'll see physiological needs on the very bottom layer. In order to empower women in the economic sphere, including those topics that I thought of first, there has to be a safe living environment with basic needs like clean water. As each level of need is provided, we can empower women and girls in new ways with new resources, but we have to have the foundations of physiological needs first, and then you can work your way up the triangle, providing new resources as you go. Many international organizations agree that for lower income communities, the most important factors to consider when you're talking about empowering women and girls are clean water, basic medical care, particularly pregnancy and childbirth care, and access to education. And in this case, we're not talking just education like a school, a building and a classroom and textbooks and all of that, but also including important community services information as well. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. In many low-income countries, women and girls spend hours every day retrieving water for drinking, cooking, and bathing. Reducing or eliminating the amount of time this task costs them in physical and emotional labor is the very first step in empowering women in these countries. There are different ways to ensure clean water, from digging a well to providing sanitation packs, and this goes back to access to information and education because not everyone will know what to do with a sanitation pack, so there's an instructional component to this outreach as well. One of the foremost issues facing women in low-income communities are the risks associated with childbirth. Here there's some statistics that the World Health Organization has provided regarding maternal deaths. In 2015, roughly 303,000 women died during and following pregnancy and childbirth, and 99% of all maternal deaths occur in developing countries. This was really appalling to me, 99%. So this is really an issue facing women in low-income economies, and that's something that you might think about when you're researching for your final papers. I know it really changed the way that I'm looking at my data. Every day, approximately 830 women die from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. Maternal mortality is higher in women living in rural areas and among poorer communities. And young adolescents face a higher risk of complications and death as a result of pregnancy than other women, which is the opposite of what you would think of for more developed, higher economy communities. Here, you think of complications as being with older mothers. We are making progress. Between 1990 and 2015, maternal mortality worldwide dropped by about 44%. And between 2016, just last year, and 2030, as part of the Sustainable Development Goals, which we've been talking about all semester, the target is to reduce the global maternity mortality ratio to less than 70 per 100,000 live births. And I hope that they can do that. And that's part of the UNESCO initiative, or the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Access to education is imperative to empowerment for girls and women. The items to focus on are literacy in whatever language the student is fluent in, and that's very important, especially with recent immigrant and refugee populations, which may be a mixed bag of origins and may not be familiar with the steps to take to access an affordable or free education. So not only the school itself, but the steps involved in signing up for school, childcare, etc., are important tools to give to any at-risk community. Now, this issue extends beyond low-income countries and into higher-income countries, as we've seen here in the U.S. with immigrants seeking education in their native languages. Affordable childcare is also a factor for women seeking education. As with the issue of clean water, this is an issue that's more about freeing up the time and ability to attend class than it is actually providing education. In 2011, UNESCO launched the Global Partnership for Girls and Women's Education, and their motto is Better Life, Better Future. And they're guided by the belief that educating girls and women can break the cycle of poverty and foster greater social justice. The partnership is looking to increase learning opportunities for girls and women and to find solutions to some of the biggest obstacles to their education. They are focusing on expanding and improving education for girls and women at the secondary level, so at the high school level, and in the area of literacy, to take successful initiatives to replicate good practices and engage new actors, is the quote from their website. And that just means that they're interested in taking what works and replicating it, right? And engaging as many people as they possibly can, so more people each year in every program that they start. So now that we know a little more about the issues, let's talk about who's helping to address them. We have Team World Vision. The average woman in Africa walks 6 kilometers to get clean water every day. So they do 6-kilometer charity events to raise money and provide sanitation kits and wells. UNESCO has quite a few things going on. They have the Malala Fund for Girls' Education, the UNESCO/HNA Partnership, and Empowering Adolescent Girls and Young Women Through Education initiative. UN Women is dedicated to gender equality and the empowerment of women, and they are tightly tied with UNESCO. They work really closely together, and they're working to fulfill the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, again, that we've been talking about all semester. The World Health Organization, there's this quote on their website that I really liked. We help mothers and children survive and thrive so they can look forward to a healthy old age. And I really liked that. They're coming at it kind of twofold. They're interested in helping provide clean water to help prevent preventable diseases that spread through dirty water, like cholera, that kind of thing. And they're also interested in helping women with pregnancy issues, with childbirth issues, to help lower the mortality rate. And they provided a majority of the mortality statistics. I credited them on the slide, but you might not be able to see it. It's pretty small. And then lastly, there's Care International. They put women and girls in the center, and this is from their website, because they say that, quote, "We cannot overcome poverty until all people have equal rights and opportunities," end quote. I'm happy to provide these links to anyone who would like further information on how to help lower income communities gain these basic needs and empower girls and women. I think it's a really important topic. I'm really glad that Amy and I were able to explore this a little bit for you guys. And now I'm going to hand things over to Amy to discuss the issues facing women and girls in higher income communities. Thank you.